What is up, y'all? Got home a little sooner than I anticipated. Yeah, try to aim. I'm gonna usually try to aim for 5:30 Central Time, any given week. But I mean, of course, I just do like 5:40 as like in case I gotta go to the bathroom or make some water, blah blah blah. But got home at a decent time, so I'm like, whatever. Let's just get live. Got some sun this weekend. Look at me, I'm so red. Went to a winery with some friends and my girlfriend. It was a lot of fun, maybe too much fun, but yeah, had a great weekend. I don't know about you guys, but yeah, I had the time of my life. This is one of the best weekends I've had in a while. Again, Saturday was awesome. Just like so, Friday. I'll start with Friday. Just had a nice, quaint evening with my girlfriend. Watched Poor Things, which I enjoyed. Definitely a weird movie. I understand how Emma Stone won Best Actress, but I still think Lily Gladstone should have. I think she went a little harder in the paint with her acting chops in Killers of the Flower Moon. But Poor Things was pretty solid. Pretty solid. Also, if you're in here, say hey in the chat. Yeah, Poor Things I thought was good, but it was also just like Emma Stone just having sex almost every 5 minutes. So it was like, I mean, she's an attractive woman, but it was just a weird movie. So it's like, I feel like I wasn't able to enjoy that as much, but it is what it is. Then, so we just did that. Went to the winery at like 10:30 in the morning. It's like 45 minutes away. So we were there till like probably 6:30 is when we started to head home. It was nuts. It was just a crazy time. And then, of course, yesterday was St. Patty's Day, so happy St. Patrick's Day. Went to a parade. It's in Dogtown, St. Louis, which is one of the biggest St. Patty's Days parades in the country. It was fun. It was just a good weekend. Now I'm just beat. I'm beat because, I mean, the sun, I think, also took a lot out of me. So yeah, so this probably won't be the longest stream in the world, and it's I also started a little earlier, so I think people aren't in yet, so it is what it is. So, but I mean, I'm here to talk to ones who live. And okay, disclaimer, I guess. I know Invincible's finally back. I actually didn't realize it was back, and my friend told me it was, so I was gonna watch it. I wanted to talk about it, but I didn't have time because it was a crazy weekend. So I'm just debating what I want to do. All right. So my plan is, I think I might just have these next two episodes still be the ones who live, because I want to have it solely focused on that. Invincible's big. Don't get me wrong, but I kind of just want. I might just do. I just wait until the half season's done, and then just do a whole video just talking about the second half of season 2 of Invincible. So that's what I'm thinking. We'll see, because I could use some content once the ones who live is done. I only have 2 more weeks of it, so we only have 2 more episodes of potentially the best show airing on television, in my opinion. Again, The Walking Dead is my absolute favorite show of all time. There's no okay. Breaking Bad and Better Call Saul are 2, and but The Walking Dead is just something that, like, one, I grew up with since it started, and it's been going on for 14 years basically in this universe. But I'm debating on going through Fear the Walking Dead soon and all the other spinoffs, because the show's getting me so amped, and it's okay. So I feel like with the first episode of The Ones Who Live, that's where I'm like, holy shit, we are watching some peak television. And then episode 2 I thought was really good. 3 I thought was really good, and then we get to episode 4, which is called it's titled What We. So they're doing a fun thing with these episode titles. They're doing, excuse me. Anyway, so the first episode was titled Years, and then the second title was Gone, and then the third episode was Bye. So Years Gone By, which is a play on title of the very first episode of The Walking Dead ever, called Days Gone By. It's also the first issue of the comics, right? But now it's years gone by. It's been 7 years, and we haven't seen Rick in that time. In real time, we haven't seen him in like 6 years, 5 years, something like that. Which is, again, that's a long time to not see the man who is the main character of this entire show. I'm gonna move my camera a little bit. My bad. But Anyway, and then this episode's titled "What We," and the next one's "Become," which is also based on the last episode we see Michonne. Um, I watched a YouTube video earlier. I really like this guy. He has amazing Walking Dead content. He's called the Thrifty Typewriter. That has awesome videos. Check him out. He's really growing, and I would love to do a collab with him one day if he's into it. But yeah, check him out. But he mentioned this today. I watched his video on this episode. He didn't really talk about it that much, like the episode itself, because I do think it's like what he said was it's something to experience, and it is. So he didn't really go into like details that much on the episode, more theories of what's to come. But he thought I agree with his stance that like I think what they're doing with the episode titles like, is kind of lame. Where the first episode should have just been titled "Years Gone By," and the second title should be "What We Became," which is again like the first time we see Michonne fully in an episode. So it's like, oh, this is what happened. So I like that idea, but it is what it is. And then the last episode will be called "The Last Time," which I think is the last escape. Even though they certainly have escaped, but they're still going to be on the run from the CRM based on how this episode ends. What's up, David? Good to have you. I hope you watched the episode because this is a big one. And I know you love this show. I know you love The Walking Dead. Well, awesome to have you here, pal. But yeah, so to me. So again, this was a perfect way. So I had one of the best weekends of my life. I really think so. Because then, like after the St. Patty's Day parade, we got Mexican food, which I love from my favorite place. And then I just go to my buddy Bob, who of course was here, or he did a few of these streams with me a while back. But now he has a big boy job, and he doesn't get off till 7. I can't really just wait around till 7 o'clock. I guess I could, but I'd rather just get this done right when I get home. That way I have the rest of the evening to eat, do whatever else I need to get done, or just relax with my girlfriend, right? Anyways, but yeah, so that's what was great. I just went to Bob's, and then one of my best friends, Michael, came over. We watched this episode. And then after we watched this episode, I played zombies with two of my other best friends and Bob, and it was just a great day. Perfect way to but it was the cherry on top of my evening, or my weekend, I should say. Yeah, I'm just loved it. But anyway, I just know right when the whole time we're watching this episode, we're just like, what are we watching? What are we watching? Like, this is like an unreal episode. I think I would argue. So years, I remember when that came out, I'm like, this is one of the best episodes in the entire series of all The Walking Dead. And I feel the same way with this episode. But yeah, Rick needed a big slap to bring him back to his senses, and he got it. All it took was Michonne being like, how do you not want to meet your children? And she's saying, fuck this, basically. I don't know who you are anymore. You're not the guy that I fell in love with, I knew years ago, who would stop at nothing to be with his family and the ones he loves. Not the ones who live, but the ones he loves. And and what's up, Shit Farmer? Good to have you here. But that's the thing. Like, Rick, I saw someone comment on this. I think it was on the Walking Dead page on Instagram or something. It was just a good comment that hit me. It's like Years was the episode where we see Rick Grimes for the first time, right? And Years, literally. This was the episode where we finally have him back. Because he's been a little bit neutered. He has not been himself at all. Michonne has seen it. It's because he's been in this place for 7 years and he had to conform to what it is, This was the episode where Michonne finally brought him back to his senses. And if I'm being real, all he honestly probably needed was my buddy said this, so I'm not gonna take what he said, but he's like, I think maybe all he needed was some post-nut clarity. Michonne and Rick, they finally, after they have a big fight, they make love for the first time in 7 years, and that's his wife. I'm like, this had to happen. I was saying, I think I said this last week. I'm like, you have to have them bone. It's like, how wouldn't you? They haven't seen each other in years. And that whole sequence was nuts to me because Rick's literally having a panic attack during, it seems like, because he's like, is this real? Is this real? Because like he's had the dream about her, and like anytime he's dreamt about her, like they fall in love in different ways. And I love that. And he's just like, is this real? And Michonne's just trying to comfort him in this moment, and it's beautiful. And I think what really destroyed me about this episode, again, like this was the actress who plays Michonne, I don't know how to say her last name, but the actress who plays Michonne, she actually wrote this episode, and I'm shocked she hasn't done more, because I think this is one of the most well written episodes. Like, and you can she knows what the fans want, and that's why I think this episode just popped off. It's like you drop a Daryl mention, you drop a Carl mention, like she talks about RJ with Rick for the first time. She's like, your children, and he's like, children? She's like, yeah, when the bridge happened, I was pregnant. And he's like, what? But like she literally tells him this, and he's like, I have to go back. And it's like, what? Rick, what's wrong with you? The second you hear you have a son, you should be like, I'm going to stop at nothing to see him. But in his mind, it's like, I will stop at nothing to make the CRM work, because I'm like the guy who has this mission for future generations to make this world a better place. But I think he's a little brainwashed. But I get it. But after everything they've been through, they were building that world, a better world, not this military state of a world. And it was definitely more like medieval, and like just everyone working together to prosper together. Everyone has their jobs to do. And Rick's forgotten this. He's been gone for so long, and I like, one, the writing is just so good in this episode, where Andrew freaking eats in this episode. Andrew Lincoln destroys the script. Like Denai killed it with the writing process, but Andrew just fucking ate, bro. When he breaks down and talks about Carl, me and all my boys looked at each other, we're like, dude, are we gonna cry? Are we crying today? I was not expecting to cry today, because it was nuts. It was truly insane. Like just how Andrew sounds when just talking about his child that he lost, and like having Rick just break down and like start to cry. Like, I can't even picture him anymore. I don't know what my son looks like anymore, because he's been through so much hell since the death of Carl, and he just can't remember his son's face. And that's a real thing. Like, yeah, like it's been like probably 7 to 10 years since he's seen Carl, and he's been through hell. And that PTSD will play a role with you, like not be able to remember people's faces. He could barely remember Michonne's face. He's like, I stopped dreaming about Carl. I still dreamt about you, but I stopped dreaming about him, and I'm doing this for Carl. So like our children can grow up in a world they don't have to be like afraid in, and it's so good. It's so good. And I could have watched these two talk about everything that they've been through since they last saw each other, this entire episode in this one apartment room, like this living room in this apartment, like, which was also cool. Like, it's how, like, for some reason this apartment still had power, had a Roomba, which I thought was a funny scene. And as you mentioned here at the end of the episode, it's like Michonne finally got Rick back. He's ready to go home. And then like they get into the car, and he's like, it's a stick shift. I can't. My buddy was like, dude, Rick can't drive a stick. I'm like, dog, he doesn't have a hand. He can't do it. Like, you can't drive and then not do it, right? And it was just funny to me. Is this just one season, or is there more? So here's my thing, David. I could be wrong, but I think it just got greenlit for season 2. I saw that as a comment somewhere. But I don't know if that's confirmed fully by AMC. But no matter what, like when this season's done, there's going to be another spinoff of some sort whenever they're home. And there's all the reunions that take place, which will be the pseudo Walking Dead season 12. I have a feeling they're going to, like, because again, it all has to do with like this partnership It's so they don't have to pay Frank Darabont, because he has like some deal from the very first season that like they're just gonna have to pay him, even though he's no longer a showrunner, but he created the show. So I think that's a big reason. It's kind of an FU to Frank Darabont. It's like, whatever, just keep The Walking Dead a show. You did not have to end it. But it is what it is. But this guy also really kickstarted one of the best shows of all time, and he's also the dude who made the fucking Shawshank Redemption. So it's like, just pay him what he's due. But it, again, all this is happening so they can have all this stuff on AMC Plus, all this Walking Dead content on there. It's their own streaming service. I get it. So the stuff doesn't have to just be on Netflix either, which they have that deal to have the Prime show on there. And I assume whenever that deal's over on Netflix, it will be like the whole show will be on AMC Plus also. But anyway, so to answer your question, either it's going to get greenlit for a season 2, or there'll be this pseudo season 12 of The Walking Dead. And I think they're going to just call it We Are the Walking Dead. Because that's one of the, like, one that's Daryl says it in the finale. Rick says it at one point throughout the show. Like, it's in season 5 of the show, he says it. And in the comics, that's a big thing when Rick Grimes says it. But Daryl says we are not the Walking Dead, which is also a huge moment in the comics. But Rick Grimes says that. But what the show's making me want to do, I think every night before I go to sleep, I think I'm going to read the comics again, because I think the comics are phenomenal. And I'm really hoping, again, I think one of the next things they do, I think once this main show is done, like the main storyline with these characters, I think I mentioned this last week, but I'm pretty sure they will. I think they'll just do like a complete recreation of the comics, but animated, and I can't wait for that. I cannot wait for that, because I think that would kick ass. You can be completely like, you'll still have the main show where you get to love these characters and these actors who perform them, and also have different new characters like a Merle or a Daryl, who is the fan favorite of the show. But in the comics, they don't have him. But the comics just like there's a lot of similarities, but there's so many different stuff that happens, and it's different. It's gorier, which is funny, and it, like, there's a lot more like cursing and whatnot and sex, and that's what I really want to see this as an animated show. Or like in like 10 years from now, they just reboot and like start fresh, get new actors, and like do complete remake, just like the comics. I don't know if they'll do that, but who knows? Excuse me, got some hiccups going on. And I'm beat, but yeah. Let's see. What do you say? I thought it will be Ezekiel, Commonwealth versus the CRM in season 2 of Greenlit. So as I was talking about earlier, probably before anyone was in the stream, there's this YouTuber I really love, and you guys should watch him if you like The Walking Dead. And again, I would love to do a collaboration with him. But the Thrifty Typewriter, he has great content, and he put out a video today, which was talking about the episode, but also he was just talking about theories of the future, of how, like, what they're going to do going forward. So if it's a season 2, it's going to be something a little different. It's just the fact that like Dead City is supposed to take place like 3 years post what's happening now. So I like the idea that like Michonne made it home and told Maggie to go to New Jersey, build an army. That's how she loses to Herschel, and that's why she has to team up with Negan. But then the idea is to try to like get people to recruit, and that's basically what happens in Dead City with Negan becoming like king of like these people, right? And I need to finish these shows, but I just know what happens. But I'll probably watch one of these tonight as I'm going to bed. At least, again, I need to go through Daryl. I've only seen the first one. Same with Dead City. But the idea is just like to build up armies, and so like they can have people in New Jersey, so one way closer to Philly, and then like they'll probably have the Commonwealth, which I believe is in Ohio, which is like another part, and they can just like kind of collide in, like kind of like what happened with like the Nazis or the Russians are coming from one way, the U.S. coming one way to like close in on them. So I think that's what's going to happen with the CRM, and they have to take down Philly. And so it'll be eventually they get to the Commonwealth. Ezekiel's the king there, or, you know, like the leader there, the president. And but they have to tell everyone. Yeah, shit farmer. Here's the thing. I have to find a way that you can. So I would love that cheese, man, if you can send me some. We need to find a way to be able to communicate with each other. I will post my Instagram or something, and I can send you my information if you're intrigued. But we'll talk about that. We'll find a way to converse with each other. Anyway, would love that. Some Wisconsin cheese. Oh, whew, so good, so good. I've only been to Wisconsin like once or twice in my life, but great state. Even though I'm a Minnesota Vikings fan, so there's a little bit of that rivalry there. But anyway, uh, where are they going with everything I was saying before? You distracted me once again, shit farmer. You're so good at it. You're so good at it. But if my handle's on anything, it might be. We'll figure it out. I need to figure out how to. If you can put honestly, just put like your Instagram handle in the comments now. I'll screenshot and I'll get to you. If you have Instagram or something. Anyway. Anyway, so the idea is that like I think they're gonna recruit people and like it's gonna be like a huge army against this huge army. And I think that's how the show is eventually gonna end. It's gonna be Rick Grimes as this hero, this military leader against thanks, David. Yeah. Against the major general with the CRM. So Rick Grimes versus him and potentially Thorne as well. And it looks like next episode they had a little sneak peek, of course, that like now Michonne's like we can't go home because something happens where she is terrified of the CRM next episode. I'm curious what that's gonna be. But I'm pretty sure like this like cloaked figure in the teaser, it's definitely Jadis. I would love if it's Morgan, but I doubt it. You never know. But I think there's gonna be something that happens with Jadis where like she's like, we can't go home. We have to go back to get rid of this failsafe. Where I think it's gonna end with Jadis dying. I think that's what happens next episode, and she's gonna be like, all right, you guys are going down because she's gonna have this failsafe. She's probably gonna be able to call in like something on her walkie or whatever to be like, all right, they came after me. They're alive. Go after them. And that's gonna be insane. Of course, it's gonna be. I think the last episode's them getting home there, and I think, or they sneak back in to try to get this stuff so they don't find out about the Commonwealth. So I don't know if they make it back to Alexandria or the Commonwealth by the end of the show. They might, but regardless, I think they're gonna have to sneak back into Philly and find this stuff. Because they're not because they need to have this advantage on this group of people that they can't know where we're coming from if we want to take them down. And I think that's why Michonne saying we can't go home. But we'll see. But Rick's finally like back to how he was before the bridge, and he's that man. He's that man once again, and it's gonna be so good to see him back like fully. Because we got that taste of it at the end of the episode when they find this car, has a bunch of gasoline that can even get them home if they want to. I'm just really curious what happens on the road. I agree. I hope so too, David. I really like Jadis as a character. I feel like I need to watch World Beyond, but I might just watch like a recap video on it because like I've not heard that good of things. But I'm sure there's good stuff in there lore wise. Really help with knowing who the CRM are. But yeah, what was your guys' favorite part of the episode if you watched? Because to me, again, I think it was just Rick breaking down about Carl. I think that really destroyed me. And then again, seeing Rick back, like smiling, being with Michonne, it feels like, again, like these two can take on the world together. They can. We only have 2 more episodes left, guys. Only 2 more. It's truly one of the best shows I've ever seen, in my opinion. But again, it's based on my favorite show of all time. And it has my favorite character of all time, Rick Grimes. And I'll always say him and Spider-Man are my 2 favorite fictional characters of all time. They're 2 people that I think have really shaped my persona, my personality. And it's just good to see him back fully, like less so neutered, I would say. And of course, his wife had to bring him back. She had to get real with him, and she did. She brought Richard Grimes back to us. And all I know is I'm going to lose my mind. Again, I don't see it happening this season, which I hate to say. I would love to see them make it home or to the Commonwealth to have these reunions. Like the Judith and Rick reunion is going to be remarkable. The the Rick and Daryl reunion, Rick and RJ, is going to be insane. Rick finally meeting his son. And I think there's going to be a callback to one of my favorite episodes in the show, Clear. Because again, like the Morgan episode, when they like come back, is going to be awesome when Rick and Morgan are able to reunite. But like what I think the callback to Clear is how like Carl went in with Michonne to get this picture of Carl, Lori, and Rick. I think there'll be something where Rick looks at that and he can see his son's face again, and he'll talk to Judith about it and RJ about it. And, like, it'll be amazing. What were you saying here, David? When they were in the car, best part, let the good old days. I'm with you. I'm with you. I loved it. I felt that sense of like, we're back, baby. We're back. If they get back to Alexandria, do I think Scott's there? Can you remind me who Scott is? If you could, David. I'm having trouble remembering who Scott is. The thing is, I know at the end of the Walking Dead, the series finale, I know like they were in Alexandria, weren't they? Like Judith and Aaron and them. But I know Eugene and Ezekiel at the Commonwealth, so I feel like Alexandria is still up. So if they make it to Alexandria, they'll probably talk to them about the Commonwealth, what's going on with Daryl, what's going on with Maggie and Negan. I really hope we get a Negan and Rick reunion. A part of me just doesn't think it's going to happen, but I could see them on like the battlefield together. Oh, Scott, that's right. That's right. Yeah. I hope he is. Again, he's the ultimate background character. Yeah. That's right. Again, that's the thing. I can't remember what his name is ever, but he's always on the screen. I love that I remember when you mentioned that the other week, and I'm like, dude, it's so funny because me and my girlfriend talked about the exact same things. Like, he's always there. He's never a big character. He's just always there somewhere. But I hope so. That'd be awesome. But yeah, dude, I just know Morgan is like, or Negan is like running the city of New York, and he has an army now. He's like king of New York City, which is sick. And I think if him and Rick fighting together in a war, that would be awesome. So I think if I'm going to rank some reunions and then I think I'm going to head out, I say the one I want to see the most, or I think the one I don't know. I want to see the most emotional one's going to be the Judith and Rick and RJ reunion, also first meeting. I think that'll actually really hit me hard. Of course, Michonne seeing Judith and RJ again will be awesome. But I'm really wanting that Negan and Rick reunion. But of course, I think my number one choice clearly is going to be the Rick and Dale reunion, because I see that as me and my best friend. Like that's something that I take from like seeing Rick and Dale interact. I'm like, this is like me talking to my brother. Like my one of my like, if I'm talking to Bob or I'm talking to my buddy Michael, like if I didn't see them for like almost for like 8 years, that'd be one of the most emotional moments of my life. And I can't wait to see these guys back. Like, it'll be awesome. But of course I would like a Carol and Rick reunion, but yeah, I think Daryl, yeah, I'm with you, David. I think that will clearly, hands down, be the best reunion. I think it's going to hit the heartstrings the most. I mean, I think the Judith and RJ one has potential too, but again, I just have so much more of an emotional connection with the Daryl and Rick stuff. So yeah, I don't think it'll happen this season, but I think we could potentially get the Judith and RJ, maybe. At least I think there's going to be one character who shows up in the finale, and I think it's Morgan. But because I think they'll find him on the road, and that'll be crazy. Because I think they're going to try to test out the radio to get in contact with Judith, but they'll be driving at dawn, and then they'll hear Morgan on the mic. That's gonna be sick. That's how I think the show ends. I don't know if we necessarily see Morgan. I think we'll hear Morgan. That's my prediction for how this season ends. Again, I don't know if it's just like a one season, one and done. They do something else that's like, all right, they're back in Alexandria. They'll call it something else. I really hope they're working on another season or whatever they plan on. And again, I can see the Ones Who Live just being the new pseudo Walking Dead show where you have Daryl and Dead City and other things to like fill in other gaps. But this will be like the one that like is the true successor to The Walking Dead, The Ones Who Live, because they're not The Walking Dead. That's what Daryl says at the end. Now they are the ones who live, and that's how the show ends. So how the original, they're not The Walking Dead. They are the ones who live. So I see this technically being the pseudo new Walking Dead. And I think it'll go for at least 3 seasons. And I think by the end of season 3 is when the CRM's done, and that might be the end of these characters as we know it. That's kind of my thought process, but we'll see. All right, guys, I think that's going to do it here. Of course, I always love talking about the show. I think this is easily a top 10 episode in The Walking Dead. I just remember right when I was done, I'm like, dude, I think we just witnessed like one of the best episodes, if not the best episode of the show. In terms of like dialogue and emotional like gut punches, I think this is truly the best. I think the writing was superb, the acting was superb. If I'm gonna grade it, it's like at least a 9 out of 10. I want to watch it again. I'll probably watch that again when I fall asleep potentially. But I do think I need to get into Dead City or Daryl before I start rewatching the show. And then me and my girlfriend, I keep telling her I want to finish season 11. I want to get into at least this show with her because I know she'd love it. But yeah, guys, awesome. I was happy to have you guys here. Of course, I can always count on you guys. Share it with your friends. Share it on some social media if you could. Would love that. I think the series has been doing well so far, though. I've been very proud of it. And I love talking about my favorite character of all time and like my favorite show. But yeah, guys, I hope you have an awesome Monday and a great week ahead. Maybe on Wednesday or Saturday, I'm going to try to do a live stream on G-Cubed again because last time was just a shit show. It was very unfortunate. My Wi-Fi was being rough. My one friend couldn't join us because we love playing zombies on Call of Duty as well. So make sure to try to check out. I'll post it on the community tab on M-Cubed. And I'll let you guys know. It'll probably be Wednesday or Saturday if I'm willing to bet. But all right, guys, I will catch y'all very soon. Make sure to like and subscribe and hit that notification bell to know when we're going live. Peace out, guys.